So as we all know, the political situation in the UK is fragmented at best right now. There's a lot of people pulling in a lot of different directions. People are getting quite concerned about what the future of the country looks like and who's going to lead it. We've got the usual suspects in the Labour Party who say that they're, part of the working class, that they represent normal people, or as Keir Starmer would say, normal people.
Stop that.
Right? But we can all see that that isn't necessarily true because of their actions and the fact that they lie to us every single day about everything that they possibly can.
PM, you promised to end the chaos when you were elected, but since the summer we've had winter fuel U-turn, welfare U-turn, Rayner's resignation, Mandelson's sacking, Andy Burnham's leadership drama, the Wes Street in number 10 showdown, pitch rolling and income tax rises only to U-turn. You haven't ended chaos, you are the chaos.
You have politicians from the Labour Party coming on news programmes and openly lying to the presenters, saying that we never promised that we wouldn't raise taxes.
What's unacceptable is for the public parliament and the markets to be misled with officials briefing about a 20 billion black hole. Things people the Chancellor blamed for black holes. Brexit, Donald Trump, Liz Truss. There was no black hole. You had 4.2 billion in the coffers and you didn't tell the public. Why didn't you tell the public?
I'm sorry, but
why didn't you tell the public about that surplus?
We were absolutely upfront with the public.
It would be weird to find out that they've been caught in a lie, and especially a rather big one. Do you remember this?
Let's just remind ourselves, they presided over the biggest drop in living standards on record. Mortgages went through the roof and they left a £22 billion black hole.
Keir Starmer bulldozing his way through interviews without listening to the questions or completely ignoring them. And then, of course, you've got the Green Party, which are doing the usual green Islamo-communist stuff by saying tax the millionaires and billionaires, don't worry about the open borders and the stabbings and the grapes and all that stuff. The real problem is the billionaires and the millionaires. We need to distribute the wealth. That's going to solve everything.
The whole frame of the migration crisis is a racist, fascist frame. The answer is not to blame the migrants. The answer is not to point at the small boats. The answer is to point at the private jets, the private yachts, and to multimillionaires and billionaires.
And then, of course, you've got the other outlying parties that don't really have any political future. One of those probably, right now, the Conservatives. The Conservative Party of the UK, led by an immigrant who shouldn't be here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As a first-generation immigrant, can I welcome the Home Secretary's statement, which I feel this immigration white paper is a move from the 20th century to a much better future immigration system. In particular, I'd like to thank the Home Secretary for removing the annual limits on work visas and also on international students, both of which I lobbied for on behalf of the Wellcome Sanger Institute and Anglia Ruskin University, which serve my constituency.
They've made a few mistakes in the last few years. The Boris wave, Rishi Sunak being Prime Minister without asking the public whatsoever, while India celebrated the fact that they took us over momentarily. There's a few issues, let's just say that, happening in the UK. But one of them, as you can see, is that there's a glimmer of light. There is always hope on the horizon. It's just whether or not we can grab hold of it, right? So Rupert Lowe, this poll came out saying, would you support Rupert Lowe as Prime Minister, and if so, which party would you choose? Now, there were a lot of choices made here. Conservatives came out quite strongly, along with Liberal Democrats, Labour. In fact, no one really came out very strongly, and I would even say Reform UK, who are currently leading by 36% or something like this in the polls. They came out with 25%. I've highlighted here the fact that Rupert Lowe came out with 10% of the vote, or 10% as a indication of support, when he's not even in a political party. Now, I find that fascinating. That's just one man against the entire liberal, or the entire, well, yeah, you may as well call it the entire liberal establishment in the UK. What that means is people are willing to invest their support and their faith in just one person if he keeps saying the right thing. If he keeps saying the right thing, doesn't deviate, doesn't apologise, wants the same things that you want, the only thing he's missing right now is a political party. And I remember again, I'm not Nostradamus, but I do predict a few things that come to fruition every now and again. I remember saying this a long time ago. Restore Britain. That's a good name. Restore Britain. That's a good name. That's a good party name. And I think you should form this party now, or in the next few days, or in the coming weeks. You can test the mood. And when it's right at that moment where the people are dismayed and they see no hope and they understand, they start to understand that they can't vote for any of them, that's when you need to announce that you're forming the party. But between now and then, you need to be absolutely throwing as much information out there with as many helpers as you've got. All of those releases that you made about the statements of the changes to immigration law, bringing back the death penalty, bringing back treason, right? Getting rid of the boat bastards, deporting the ones that shouldn't be here, all of the good stuff, right? You need to educate people that this is an option right now, otherwise Nigel Farage is going to steal your thunder with his slimy rhetoric that promises nothing. There's an opportunity here. I would hope, Rupert, that you have the people with you, advising you on just when to take it. So I stand by that. I haven't changed my opinion. I do think that Rupert Lowe is just waiting for the right time. He's waiting until the people really need a true leader to come forward. And he'll join on another party, or he'll change Restore Britain to be a political party in its own right. I don't know exactly which path he's going to take. But I do believe that there will be a time in the near future where Rupert Lowe will make his mind up and plant his flag. Now, again, that could be in any of these... Well, it's not going to be in the Greens, is it? It's not going to be in Reform UK because Nigel Farage hates his guts and he's a spiteful little man who doesn't really have a backbone. So I don't think Reform UK are going to be the party either. It's probably going to be a new party created by Rupert Lowe with Restore Britain. It might go to Ben Habib's, I forgot the name of his party now because it's not a very good name. I forgot the name of it. Or it might be the Conservatives. If Rupert Lowe went into the Conservatives with the leadership position and was able to bring a Advance UK, that was the name of Ben Habib's party, and he was able to bring like a coalition of people with him, like a huge swathe of people. Pretty much all the people that have fallen out with Nigel Farage have been stabbed in the back. So if he was able to bring all of those people with him, he'd get huge support, absolutely massive amounts of votes. Again, I can't predict the future, but I do think that Rupert Lowe will be the wrench or the spanner in the works. I think he's the black sheep, the outlier, the person that's just stalking up slowly to the political establishment and the one that they're really afraid of. They will frame Nigel Farage as the terrible right-wing, omnipresent dark storm on the horizon, the right-wing paradigm that we should all avoid. We all know that's not true. Nigel Farage is lukewarm at best, and the framing around Nigel Farage, I think, has been done on purpose to gatekeep the right from any legitimate choices. Now, when it comes to Rupert Lowe, I think he sits outside of that paradigm. He sits outside of the system. I've always said, you can't change the system if you're within the system. Well, he's not. He's his own man right now, doing his own thing, and eventually he will choose which side he wants to move forward with. And I will say, just quickly, the poll was made by a polling company called Find Out Now. They're not the most reliable of polls, which is fine. And the framing itself isn't particularly a good question, which is, again, completely fine. You don't need to put 100% of faith into polls. In fact, I actually think most of them are full of shit. But I do like the idea because it doesn't come from nothing. There is something here. There is something that the British people are holding on to. Some kind of faith, some kind of hope. True leadership probably comes from the person who doesn't kowtow to the system. And I think Rupert Lowe exemplifies that. So moving forward, guys, I do think that there is an opportunity here. I do think that there is genuine hope moving forward. I'm not going to put it all in one man, and neither should you. We should all do our own part. I'm making videos, whatever good that does, you can let me know. Other people can walk around the streets raising flags. Other people can make community watch groups where they walk their children or other people's children to work, to school and back, sorry. There's other things we can do that are not particularly legal, but there's lots of things that we can do as a collective, coming together as a community, as a country, fighting for its future. This is just one of them. And I do think, like I said, I'll leave it just on this. It's not all bleak. It's not all bad. At least we know who the enemies are now. They're loud and they're proud. They openly say, you want your fucking country back? Tough shit.
How do you want your country back? Ha! Shut the fuck up!
They openly say, they're not here for crumbs off the table, they're going to take the fucking lot.
We're not here to beg for crumbs off the table, we're taking the fucking lot!
Well, thank you very much for letting us know. See you later.